Dare you to move like the day never happened. I'm not sure if those are the words. Heard that song too much. But welcome guys back to the channel. We're live right now and I'm supposed to be doing this. I was just about to upload it, as you can see. But I noticed this. I'm also supposed to be doing this to take my wifey out on a movie date. But I can't find my phone right now. So Tank Baby had it last, and I can hear it like buzzing when I get a message because it's on silent from the last time I went to church. But I haven't been able to find it. I dug up the entire living room and I can't find it. So anyway, let's get to this. So I don't know if you guys can hear him, but let's let Kiril tell us a little bit more about what's coming to the game and big stuff. So let's give him a thumbs up right away to show our support. I really do like this guy. He seems like somebody who's truly passionate about making the game, and you know, this is a complicated project. People can complain about a lot of things, and there's some things that I agree with and don't agree with how they're doing things, but I want to give them the freedom to make those decisions. Let's bump up the quality for you guys, because you guys are special. Alright.
Hello everyone, my name is Kiril. I'm the creative director of Gaijin Entertainment. Today I'll...
Hey look, he looks a little bit more confident, but he still looks like he doesn't quite belong in front of the camera, you know, and he looks tired too. Kiril, you been getting enough sleep, bud? Huh? You look tired. Okay, I can relate to that. I'm tired all the time. Maybe he has a tank toddler at home. Oh, little Soviet tank toddler! Oh, not Soviet, Russian tank toddler. Sorry, I'm a little bit behind the times. Okay, let's move on.
Be answering a number of your questions.
And ignoring a number of your other questions. Wink, wink.
Aha question. A lot of people are asking about the P-47 and its performance in random battles.
Oh goodness, here we go. Okay, let's hear it.
They ask if we're going to do something or change something about it. First of all,
remember when the P-47 was at like a 3.3 battle rating? Nobody was complaining about it back then. It had the same performance, but except for the guns. The efficiency of American 50 cals has increased dramatically. And oddly enough, people only seem to be complaining really about the P-47. What about all the other American planes? Is that the way that they're spinning this? Is the P-47 going to become a scapegoat and get balanced hard? And honestly, with the popularity of the P-47, something has to be done. Because even if it's not the best plane, if you have enough of them that they can dominate their meta, they can fill in with numbers what they lack later in the game. And because of its air spawn, it has a serious advantage. So I think taking away the air spawn would be the best balance for the P-47 specifically. Look, he's really getting into my... Don't... Hey, Cursor, get away from there. Don't be weird. But I think that'd be the best way to balance the P-47. But let's hear what they have to say. And the issue of American 50 cals in general, do they need another adjustment? I pray that is not the case, because my emotions have been toyed with enough, and that would affect the entire American tree.
We just adjusted its BR. It'll be a bit higher now.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Then we'll work with
still
the
good at that
statistics. We'll see why and how it affects the outcomes in random battles, and then, depending on what we see, we might introduce further changes in the nearest future.
I love how they're taking their time with addressing this issue, because I've faced the P-47. It still is not, you know, a monster. It has some serious firepower that you should be afraid of, but it also has some very real limitations to its performance. Again, as someone who has played the heck out of the P-47 in multiple forms, including the two cross-tree premiums between the Germans and the Soviets, I am totally fine with it losing its air spawn. I think that they're being wise in not addressing American 50 cals in general. Kiril, you got some pretty strong cheekbones there. sallow cheeks though. You should work out, man. Just be a little more confident. That's the thing. Stand up straight, man. You can do this. You can be proud of what you've done. This is a great game. I'm proud of you. Stand up straight, bud. Got every reason to be happy. Alright, sorry. You want a cookie? You look hungry. Let's move on.
Thank you all for writing about things that concern you. It's very important for us, as it allows us to improve the game. Many players ask us about new game modes.
I'm really excited about new game modes. I'd love to see things change from...
We actually organize a lot of different events with various rules that deviate from what you see in random battles.
Yeah, and during confrontation.
The thing is that it's rather difficult to introduce new game modes to random battles, because we want them to be fair and balanced. This makes it quite challenging. Everything should be balanced, right?
The thing with Enduring Confrontation, though, and I really want to see it come to ARRB, because I think it can really breathe new life into ARRB, and it's nice to see that the European Canadian feels the same way. And I'm sure other YouTubers, I'd like to get the opinion of other experienced ARRB players. I have a lot of time in the air. I've spent most of it in RB, and even though I've spent more time in Tank RB battles, my performance is a lot better in ARB. I don't want to brag, but this is just the way it is, right? Because ARB tends to be more tactical and rely upon your ability to draw on a base of knowledge. I'm pretty good at ARB. I'm pretty good. You know, I'm competitive. I wouldn't win, you know, like a competition in the top 10 or top 100 in War Thunder maybe, but I could scrap it out. You know, I could anyway. I'm not that good in tanks. So I like ARB is sort of my passion. Tanks are a lot of fun, but whenever I need to reinvigorate my love of the game, I go to ARB. But it's been getting stale even for me. And that's the thing, it's been around for a long time. It needs a new game mode, is what it really needs. It either needs to be transformed in the current meta in a big way, to where gameplay is radically different and more diverse for each type of vehicle, especially, you know, giving attackers more to do, giving bombers more to do, that kind of thing, or a new game mode, a transformative game mode that's already in the game Enduring Confrontation. Alright, it's great in Sim. Just the Enduring Confrontation setup was great in Sim, and I have videos, you can watch those, on where I play RB Enduring Confrontation event, and it was absolutely fun from both sides, and I would love to see it develop further. Okay, moving on. He's going to say the same thing, I'm sure he is.
We want changes to be so, to make fair game modes, especially the asymmetric ones that a lot of players want. If we want it to be engaging and fair, it's much more difficult than to make a separate event that inherently has limitations like what kind of vehicles are allowed, how many players are in, etc. That's why, first of all, do participate in our events. Right now it's Chronicles, for example. There are a lot of interesting mechanics out there for you to try.
People complain about... Sorry, Kiril, I caught you at a bad time. Let's close your mouth there, bud. There we go. That's barely better, but let's move on. All right, sorry. So a lot of people complain about World War II Chronicles, and it's easy to do so. You know, the thing is, when you're frustrated, it feels good in that moment to vent your frustration in the form of complaints. But in the long run, it's toxic to yourself. And I've found that when I did have the time to play World War II Chronicles, I only played through 3 of the events, and I bought out the next 3 to get the Boarhound. But every time before, I've ground out the event without paying. So I've probably played World War II Chronicles for like, what, 3-4 years, something like that. And in the end, it's reasonably well balanced. It really is. People complain about the balance, and there are some, you know, individual events in World War II Chronicles that are not, that are sort of dominated by one side. But a skilled team on either side, it's something they've been developing for a long time, and they only bring it out every now and then, which is great. And it's really something that if you go into it with the mindset of let's see what we can do, you know, and let's try something new. Let's learn new things, because it's not the standard meta of random matchmaker, and that's one of the things that makes it fun. It's worth a shot. So the downside is there's these huge rewards with World War Chronicles, and people they go for the rewards and they go into the grind mindset, and you get frustrated by every setback instead of just going into it and trying to experience it for what it is, which is it's a new thing to mix things up every now and then. Okay, let's let Kiril talk. I'm going to take forever if we do this way.
From that, we're currently testing World War. This game mode has a lot of new mechanics, such as convoy and escort missions. These are missions of a completely new type. They are asymmetric.
Okay, I was thinking Chronicles of World War II. This is World War mode, so this could be really cool. I'd love to see especially a lot more AI and targets other than players in the game in a meaningful way. And World War mode, this could work. I think they were taken out of the game from other maps because they just didn't have them on every map, and they were also a way of distracting you from the main objective. But if they are the main objective, that could change things. That has the potential, again, to be game-changing. And this is something the European Canadian talked about just recently in his video on a rebuttal to the idea that War Thunder is dying for various reasons. You know, it's just some toxic guy in the Reddit, and it's like, just go away. You know, if you don't like this game, just quit. Honestly, when people complain that much without supporting it with real evidence and then offering a solution, that's my same reaction. Just get out of here. You're just peeing in my pool, kid. You know, grow up and get out of my water.
It's still very engaging and historical. Well, it's much closer to what most real combat missions were than the balanced skirmishes of two even sides.
But how am I going to be able to play all my awesome rare premium vehicles and prototype vehicles if this is more historical? That could be an issue. That would end up getting this mode sidelined if you can't play the vehicle you want to play in World War mode, but maybe I'm wrong.
These will feel more like combat scenarios.
Sheepska. He's getting excited now. I don't speak Russian. I think that's pretty obvious. Also, you can see a little green screen by his hand because he's moving them. But he's starting to get animated. That's good. Does Kiril seem like the kind of guy who's used to like playing with his toy soldiers off in the corner and not explaining what he's doing, and then when he gets in front of like the entire class and it's just his show and tell, he's like, look, here's the tank I made, and people are like, boo, Russian biased. It's like, you don't like it? You know, I worked hard on this. I like Kiril. He's my kind of guy. Be nice to him.
That's why I strongly suggest that you should try it. Sign up for it, leave your feedback. We never test new game modes and new mechanics in random battles. We don't want to break it. We do it in our events or during tournaments, or like now, in World War, which is completely new level altogether. Leave your feedback. Maybe some of these mechanics will make it to random battles as well. We'll see.
It's pretty neat. You can let me know if you kind of like it. I wouldn't mind if you told me.
Many people ask us about Italian armor. A lot of players already own Italian premiums and aircraft. There are already Italian tanks in-game, 2 premium machines. A huge thanks to all who buy them, support our game, and leave their feedback.
So yeah, buying those Italian vehicles, you know, obviously it's not to grind anything out. It's sort of like why I bought the PT boat way back in the day. I really believe in what they're doing, and I want to see it happen, so I put my money out there. It's like Patreon, you know. You don't really go for the rewards. You go for the feeling of being part of something, and just the desire to see it happen. Kiril, your eyes are telling me that you desire to see a nap happen. You know what? You look sleepy, but all right, let's move on. Let's move on. You could use it. You know what? Let's all pitch in so Kiril can take a vacation. This is a little whole gaijin. Let's not complain about anything or ask for any new things to the game for like 2-3 months, and let them all go to Maui or something, somewhere nice. You know, you look tired, bud. You know, you could use a tan. Go somewhere pleasant. You know, you've been in Gulag too long, comrade. All right. Let's all be nice to Gaijins. They can have a little bit of peace of mind and be joyful in their work. All right, let's move on.
Свой фидбэк. Мы работаем над тем, чтобы
We're already working on a full-size ground tech tree for Italy. We'll do our best to release it this year. Maybe some tanks will appear in the game even earlier than that.
There's like
Creating
two
the
interesting
Italian ground tech
tanks.
tree is a very challenging process.
You know, but
We do love pizza
guess
and
other people
pasta,
care about
but it doesn't make it
those.
easier to find data on all those vehicles.
целое дело.
Many players are concerned about the role the M1 Abrams plays in random battles, where it performs pretty well, mostly thanks to its excellent survivability.
Just everybody wants to play it and nothing else. That's the issue. The Abrams is just too
We've
cool.
only implemented the feature the Abrams has in real life, that it has a chance of surviving a fire in the ammunition storage. In our game, it works even better than in real life, though, because in reality, there was always a chance that the engine and transmission compartment would catch fire as well, and to prevent that, you had to rotate the burning turret. It's a very lengthy process.
I wonder where they get that information from. You know, that it's I do not claim to be an expert on modern tanks, but are they looking at like incidents? And was there like one incident where the blowout panels set the engine in reality of an Abrams tank on fire? Or was there absolutely no incident of that happening? Because I think maybe there's absolutely no incident of that happening. But it's a mechanic that would help to balance this mechanic that they added to the Abrams. And really, with the unreliability of hitting an ammo rack in the game, it's almost like everything has blowout panels right now. Right before introducing the Abrams, they made ammo racks very difficult to explode. And now the Abrams has an ammo rack that it matters less when it blows up, but at the same time, ammo racks don't blow up reliably. People shouldn't be aiming for your ammo rack anyway. It basically just eats heat and doesn't kill anybody. But it's all about crew sniping these days and hitting the cannon breech or the barrel if you're in RB. Anyway,
during which the tank is obviously unable to fight. In the end, the fire disables the vehicle anyway, and the crew, as a general rule, usually bails out at this point.
Yeah, I mean, if you get hit and your engine gets taken out in anything, the crew generally bails out. You know, that's a feature. Or if you get hit in the turret ring and you can't traverse the turret ring, the crew bails out. There's no repair kit in real life. So, you know, if you're gonna model your Abrams ammo rack features and blowout panels and say, well, now we need to scale it back to balance it. Well, okay, let's take away the repair kit from every vehicle. Let's take away the FPE from every vehicle, because I mean, if let's put it this way. Let's instead of holding J to jump out of your vehicle, I use J. I don't know what you guys use. When you want to, or when you you have this option to repair your vehicle. How about instead of that, when any major module gets damaged that would be a mission kill in real life, like your cannon barrel, your track in a combat environment, your idler wheels, your engine, your fuel tank, if you just have one fuel tank, your fuel tank, right? Your radiator, if your radiator gets blown up, your engine's going to overheat in a few minutes, so you get just a few minutes left in the battle, and then you get automatically kicked out the way you do in ARB when your engine dies. And we'll just call it a crash landing, because in real life, there's no repair kits. Kiril, don't use reality as your backup for adjusting the ammo rack on the Abrams. You and I both know it's not about reality. It's about making this vehicle less insanely popular than it is right now. Because the Abrams is the most culturally popular tank across the world for the sum of people who play War Thunder. More than any other tank that's ever been introduced into the game. And it's breaking Matchmaker at top tier. Okay, but tell me more about balancing it. Because we just want to make it stink a little bit so that people won't be all over it. So they'll actually play the other tanks, so that people who drive the Abrams can get into matches, and this can be an actual game instead of just the Abrams hour. All right. Tell me some new way to get people to try and play a different tank. And I'm not, I'm not getting after him. This is something that needs to be done because this game needs to be playable. But you just got to read between the lines here. Historicity does not matter. But let's move on.
реалистичным.
We plan to make it.
Oh, also, Tank Toddler's waking up, so I'm gonna go grab her real quick. I'll let the video play and while I AFK. All right, fill me in on the details. So let's hear him talk some more. I'm gonna go catch Tank Toddler.
As realistic as possible. If your ammo rack is on fire, you'll have to turn your turret away from the engine transmission compartment. That's the first thing. The second is that right now the piece of armor that separates the rack and the fighting compartment is way too sturdy, making the tank practically invincible to the attacks from the rear. It's not the way it works in real life though, so we'll be working on that as well. Perhaps if your rack catches fire, we'll make it impossible for a reload to finish. We'll see. Maybe that will be enough, because right now it's way tougher than in real life and tougher than its opponents in the game.
Чересчур живуч в сравнении с реальной жизнью, не говоря уж о...
This is your co-host, Tank Toddler. Say hi,
After we introduced new top tanks for a number of countries in the latest patch, many of you started to question the competitiveness of Japan, France, and Germany at high ranks.
Франции и некоторых Германий на топовых рангах. Значит, мы планируем...
In one of our upcoming big updates, we plan to introduce new vehicles for France. Japan is in for a treat as well. Maybe Germans will get a production Leopard too, so they will get more powerful vehicles as well.
Yeah.
И, возможно,
You like the Max 10?
немцам добавим серийный Леопард.
Yeah, I'm not pointing
Так что
any
мне тоже
fingers, but
будет
it fell off
более
my desk
мощная
today.
техника, чем
By
сейчас.
the way,
You know why
the
that could
info
be?
about these plans was already shown on our website, as
maybe.
well as a lot of other exciting pieces of information.
Yep, more
Check
tanks are
out the
coming,
news on our
which will
website
make
right
the
now.
current top tier a little
Here's
more
a kind of a
playable.
follow-up to the last Q&A session. A lot of our players write that the 6th rank and top-tier aircraft aren't that difficult to implement, that the early self-guided and guided missiles weren't that effective and will not change the flow of the match, that it's kind of a nice thing to have, that doesn't change everything, doesn't make War Thunder a new game.
It would probably take a lot of programming to get that to work right. You know, imagine the issues with connection issues and ping and sparking that you have with subsonic jets. Imagine desynchronization issues. This is just something that's always going to be there in an online multiplayer game. Imagine those issues with supersonic jets. With, yeah, yeah, Guppy, are you adjusting the mic for me? Thank you. Imagine those issues with supersonic jets, with supersonic, hypersonic missiles. Yeah, it can be an issue. It can certainly be an issue. I don't need to see supersonic jets in the game in order to have fun. I think there's plenty of vehicles that you can have a good time in. I think that the actual AirRB game modes could stand some looking to, but at the same time, sexy new vehicles bring people into the game, and I wouldn't mind having a top tier that's mostly unplayable. I mean, that's the way tank top tier is, and you know, you can still go in there and drive a fantasy vehicle, and even if it's unbalanced, like top tier is certainly certainly unbalanced right now, just because of the human element. People don't want to play the other tanks; they want to play the Abrams. But you know what? I'll play a few matches and I'll have a good time, and then I'll play other parts of the game. And I think that can draw people into the game and get people excited about the grind. You know, I dropped $50, don't tell Tank Mommy, on the Magach a while back, babe. I already told you about this one. Don't get upset. I mowed lawns for it. I paid you back. But you know, that was enough to get me excited about it. But do I need to play it every day? I don't think top tier is for me. You know, I'm not going to be that guy that plays it every day. But would I like to see some neat top tier vehicles in the game? Yeah. And would they break the rest of the game? Well, I mean, they'd be irrelevant if they're in a BR that's separated enough from other jets. But will they destroy 9.0 jets to where nobody wants to play 9.0? I wouldn't mind that at all. but maybe people that play 9.0 jets would have a problem with that. And would they destroy mixed battles? Possibly. But if you put them at like a 10.0 battle rating, than only people that have, you know, the Abrams or other or 9.0 tanks that, you know, they've been in the game for a while. Maybe that would work, even if they're very powerful. We'll have to see. I think they're going to introduce ground-based missile systems along with top-tier jets and make sure that AA can tear apart jets in mixed battles, so that all you have to do is have an AA on your team in order to control your airspace. And then they'll be like, okay, go ahead, mixed battles, have at ya. And people will just play top-tier jets in Air RB and leave them out of mixed battles, because CAS, when it's too strong, can sort of ruin people's day. Apparently, that issue's already been addressed with rockets. But let's hear what he has to say about balancing it. Probably something along the lines of, curb your enthusiasm, but we are making progress. Because, guys, curb your enthusiasm, but they are making progress.
That is completely different.
Такой значимой изюминкой, но все еще не меняет все, не превращает в другую игру, и которая совершенно не похожа.
And all of that makes sense, but you have to understand that if we introduce just the F-100 and the MiG-19, it will make War Thunder into a game about duels. And our game is very different from that after all. There are more than 2 nations. We have bombers and other types of aircraft. That might look fairly easy, and actually it is, to implement 2 aircraft that can fight each other on even terms. But we need to make it interesting for all countries, to make it balanced, to make it possible for bombers to play with them, because guided missiles or heat seekers weren't that effective against fighter aircraft, but were much more effective against bomber aircraft.
Те ракеты не очень эффективные, которые выпустил, забыл, первого поколения инфракрасного наведения.
Well, I mean, if you're going to have heat-seeking missiles that are really effective against bombers but not so effective against fighters, then just give bombers flares and, you know, electronic warfare modules. Excuse me. Flares and chaff. Chaff is what it's called for... It's basically glitter. It's confetti that distracts radar-guided munitions, because they see all that metal particle in the air and they can't see through it to get to the big old bomber. But yeah, there's countermeasures that they could add, but would they be historical? You know what? I don't care. We've already established that at top tier, historicity and exact figures take second seat to playability. But at the same time, these are things that are all different systems, and they need to be worked out and programmed properly in the game, and those things take time. They're definitely headed in that direction. They've been talking about it. People have been talking about it. Guys, it's coming. It's coming, and... I should stop saying that with Kiril. Anyway, but be patient and let them work on this. It appears that they really are working on it, so there's no need to push them. It will happen, and I hope that there is an overhaul of Air RB, even new game modes, enduring confrontation, I should stop that. Enduring confrontation. For ARB. I think that's a good start. And then this stuff that's coming in the future, it's sort of like cake. A little bit of it is good, but if you expect it every day for every meal, you'll become a fat diabetic with a bad attitude. Yeah, see, Tank Baby, she agrees with me. Anyway, moving on. Also, I got nothing against fat diabetics. When my little brother was like super fat, I loved the heck out of him. And now that he's got like this belly flap where his fat used to be, I love him just as much. I love me some chubbies. So anyway, guys, and the diabetes, you know, this is a tough thing to deal with, and it can make you cranky. So let's move on.
This might even out the field with top-tier bombers, but it will change the game in a lot of ways nevertheless. All in all, War Thunder isn't just about 2 aircraft. It isn't just about duels. That's why it's a lot of work, and we want it to be, as much as possible, a whole new level for both aviation and gameplay, not just an attention grabber in the form of 2 supersonic jets and their missiles. That's why that requires a bit more in terms of our effort, with a lot of tests and brainstorming involved.
Was he talking?
Thanks for watching this episode of our developer Q&A. Thanks for watching the previous one and writing your questions.
You're doing a good job.
Leave questions and feedback. We do read it all.
Oh, and by the way, you know, I'm not just a fanboy, you know, but I believe in a balanced lifestyle. Think the most about people, think the best about people, and for the things you love, you know, give them some room to make mistakes, and leave a lot of room in your heart for forgiveness. That makes life easier for you and for them. And you know what? You could really see something special. I love this game, and I love to see it doing well and moving into new places. All right, guys, let's let him finish up.
It's all very educational and actually exciting. Leave likes and subscribe to our channel. Thanks.
Hey. Hey. What is it? What is it? Are you playing with the mic? Yeah, are you playing? Anyway, I suppose that is that. Not any really new news, but it's an official announcement, and it sets the mood. I like, basically, the stance they were taking was a balanced one, and one of, let's really get this to work properly. Now I need to get this to work properly, and I need to get this to work properly. Anyway, guys, catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.